Hi, good evening, everyone. I'll save the brevity of thanking everyone and saying hi to everyone, but I'll generally address everyone here. But before I do that, congratulations, Sriram, for your determination and grit. You're truly an example of pushing human limits. The good doctors can sign and say the percentage of your disability, but I think no doctor or anybody can say how able you are and what is your ability. So there is no calculator for ability, and it's only the individual that decides how able he or she is. So congratulations to you and to your family and all the enablers who've helped you do what you want to do. Um, Secondly, I want to talk about NCC, the impact that it has had in my life. Uh, I have an A certificate, B certificate, and C certificate, all A grades. Um, Tamil Nadu best cadet when I was in the junior division, and in the senior division. Yeah, I represented Tamil Nadu at the shooting championship as well. And at the senior division, that was 98. We had this nuclear test done. So the youth exchange program was suspended. So at that time, the Indian government decided that they will take cadets to Kargil after the Operations Vijay. So I was one of the cadets representing Tamil Nadu. NCC's had a huge impact. And today, what I am, part of it I owe to NCC. So thank you so much. Uh, Right. So I'm going to talk about some larger issues here. Yeah, as you saw in the video, 8 years back, I had this car accident that left me paralyzed neck downwards. So I didn't have a choice to do away with my disability. This disability was, presented to me, and I couldn't do away. But I believe, at any given point, everybody has a choice in life. You could come here or not come here, right? You could wake up and decide to do something or not do something. But when this disability was given to me, I didn't have a choice to do away with the disability. But you know what? I had a choice as to how I'd live with it. I had a choice to cry and play the victim, saying that hey, this has happened to me, and be depressed about it and not do anything about it, keep complaining, whine. Or I had a choice as to say that okay, this has happened. I'm going to move on with my life, and I'm going to do whatever I wanted to do. It is challenging in the beginning. Trust me, it is challenging. Especially overnight, you become paralyzed neck downwards. It's a very difficult proposition, and it's not. Often people think that when you sit on a wheelchair, it's just about motor disability, that you can't move, that you can't walk, but there are much more serious complications. I don't have bowel control, I don't have bladder control. Thankfully, this is an AC auditorium, but if I was sitting outside and it's slightly warm, there's something called poikilothermia. You'd have heard warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals, and we are supposed to be warm-blooded, but after this injury, I'm cold-blooded. I don't sweat below neck. And there are different challenges. But what is very important for parents also to understand, and for the person with a disability, is to be able to set goals for yourself. If you don't set goals or the benchmark, you'll never be able to overcome it. And that is what gives you clarity. So that is very important. And see, while I'm talking about this and saying about all these, it's not my story, but the story of the choice that I made. I decided sport is what I'm going to pursue. And why sport? One, it makes me fit, it gives me the confidence. Two, it's all about pushing me to excellence. So when you have a kid with disability, or when you're a person with disability, one, the first important thing is to become independent as much as possible. Yeah, you can take help here and there. And I'm pretty sure people without disability, I would not address them as normal or able bodied, people without disability. You know, so what you have to really do is to be able to push yourself and become independent. Everybody takes help, that's fine. But after becoming independent, what's really important is to pursue excellence. That's the next obvious choice that you have to make. And to the who's who here in the society, and I know, you can do a lot in the society. Often, when you set expectation for people with disability, it is always low. Have you ever realized that? You do not expect much from people with disabilities. Why is that? When you start expecting more, they will do more. Today, you have an example of Sriram, and we can keep talking about it. You have Visagan here for whatever he does. Whatever I do scuba diving, I do beach surfing. all without hands and a paralysis neck downwards. As I said, there is absolutely no limit for what a human mind can achieve. So it's all about pushing yourself to excellence. When you move out in the society, when you go for a dinner or when you go for a movie, how many people do you see in the society with a disability? They're all the invisible members. Here you can see us because it is, celebrating the life of a person with a disability. But when you go out, how many do you see? Why? There are 40 to 80 million. World Bank says there are 40 to 80 million people with disabilities. Where are they? Often invisible, right? And research says that if you do not include people with disability in the society, 5 to 7% of the GDP is lost. With an economy of 2.5 trillion, that accounts to roughly around 120 billion. That's what we are losing when you do not include people with disability in the society. Parents play a huge role. Enablers, the who's who in the society, they play a huge role. It is very, very important to make the society inclusive. But often, even the corporates get it wrong. They say they are an inclusive organization and all that stuff. There are three things that you'll have to, kind of look at it. Diversity is one, inclusion is one, and the third aspect a lot of people forget, it's equity. And I'll explain this quickly. Diversity is inviting everyone to the party. Bringing everyone, even this occasion, calling everyone. It could be people with disability, people without disability, transgender, anybody. Inviting a diverse crowd, that is diversity. Okay, then what is inclusion? Making them participate. It's not just enough to invite them, but making them participate in the proceedings or whatever, for a party or whatever. Then what is equity? After inviting me, if you don't have a ramp, that is not equity. You're not enabling me. So creating the floor or the platform to enable people, because different people have different needs. That is equity. So I'd request the people here, the who's who of the society, and generally students and everyone, because when you grow up, please make sure that the society is inclusive, has the diversity it needs, and it has the equity that is very important. And tell you what, sports provides that opportunity. It could be Paralympics, it could be Special Olympics. You have different classification. I can't compete with a person who just has, I'm not undermining that person, who just has a knee below amputation. Which is why in Paralympics you have different classes and categories. So as a society, if we start being more welcome about it, that would be great. And to end with something, somebody like Sriram does, every single day when he wakes up, he finds reasons to enable himself. But a lot of you, you find reasons to disable yourselves. So do not wait for something to happen and wake up. It's very, very important. Thank you so much.